Okay, hey guys, a little abrupt start. I, um, yeah, I'm gonna be doing a shorter stream today. It's gonna be about 2 hours, I think. A little less than 2 hours. Casey and Pussinality, nice of you guys to join. Yeah, I was actually just about to boot up the stream, I think just before you got here. So, I wanna I want to start this off by, I think, addressing Pussinality. He has... Yeah, I think... Yeah, Pussinality is here, right? He was asking about the Trav Barb. I didn't mean to try and plug the stream in the chat channel, actually. I mean, I'm only doing a short one, but I figured it'd be easier to go over everything on stream here rather than trying to explain everything by writing everything out. Okay, so that's kind of what I was thinking anyway. Okay, so that's kind of... Okay, so let me know if you're here, Hemi Semis, or Pussinality, I don't know what you prefer. D2D2, God. Hey Casey, how's it going? Nice to have you on board with us. Who's the god here? I mean, I think they were just referring to you as the true poison necromaster in chat channel. So I don't know, man. Why are you referring to me as the god here? That's just not fair. Anyway, I don't know if you heard me earlier, Pussinality, but what I was saying was, I wasn't. Yeah, I know I know they are. I figure you're giving me a hard time, so I'm gonna give you a bit of a hard time too. Hopefully your day's going well, and hopefully you're staying healthy. Your necro is obviously ponage. I don't doubt that much. Hey, PB Gold, gotta alert, gotta go work. Okay, sounds good. I'll see you. Well, I mean, if I don't see you today, I'll see you tomorrow probably anyway. So, okay, so yes, so Pussinality. I didn't want to. I mean, my goal wasn't to shamelessly self-advertise my stream because I'm not. I haven't. I'm not planning to do a long stream today. I'm only going to be streaming for maybe like an hour and a half to 2 hours, but I wanted to cover the question that you had with regards to the Trav Barb, because there's a lot I want to say about that, and I didn't want to write it all out in chat channel, okay? So, okay, so you watch like the commentary and said, okay, that's good. I'm happy to hear that. With regards to the watching me on the background, for now, just watch this quickly, because this is why I wanted to. I'd rather show you. When you talk about a Trav Barb, there's actually a couple ways you can build a Trav Barb. In your case, like this is the thing. Like Trav Barb is a little bit vague in the sense that it doesn't really cover which skill you're going to be using, because there's actually a lot of different skills you can use. If you're trying to bring a Barb into Trav, you can go Frenzy Barb. Wait, hold on. Sorry. Yeah, Frenzy Barb. You can go Zerker. You can go Whirlwind. And you can go Warcry, of course, right? So those are 4 available options that you can use if indeed you are going to be running Trav with the Barb. That's one of the questions I had. Is it a Whirlwind or Frenzy or other? And the answer is you can actually do any of these. I'm going to be honest with you. I got my fastest times on my... like while practicing with Berserk, but it's also the most dangerous and requires the most gear to stay alive. I don't really think I need to really explain why. The thing with Berserk is the council members have the lowest resistance to Berserk. compared to physical, which can be troublesome. Like, they can soak up a lot of those hits. But at the same time, if you use Berserk, your defense goes to 0, and that can also get you killed. So, honestly, you can pick any of these. But here's the thing, okay? Here's the important thing when you're talking about Trav Barb. It's more than just whether or not which skill you're going to be picking, but also you need to look into... let's see. You also need to look into what you're trying to develop that barb for. What I mean by this is that you can build your Trav barb for gold finding. That's what a lot of people do, right? Gold find barb, I think, is the setup, or is what they call it. Like, you know, they try to stack on a bunch of gold find, and then they will even max out leap or war cry, right? That's usually how gold find barb works in Trav. You can max out. Well, you can do what I did here. I rock 0 MF, but I go dual grief, and then this build actually takes down Trav pretty easily. I can show you how it works. Primarily for MF, but won't mind gold find as well for those gambling stuff. Okay, well, yeah, there's a couple ways you can do it then. This is kind of the beauty of a barb. It's not like a build where, you know, there's only one specific way you can make it. There's like a couple ways you can do it, right? Let me know if it's too loud, by the way. I can turn down the volume if need be. But you can kind of see here, yeah, there you go. Built, like, run's already done. I can just go hork, 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 hork. And then I think that's the, oh, and I got one more. And then basically I would TP back, go back to town, and that's that, right? So keep in mind, this is like this is the barb without Enigma. Like, I'm rocking Fortitude. Like, I rock Fortitude personally, but I don't personally think that I know a lot of people don't recommend Fortitude because it's got chilling armor, and that causes, or it's got chance to proc chilling armor, and that causes things to shatter when it procs ice bolts at them. And yeah, that's something that a lot of people hate. I don't personally mind it because it only really causes bodies to shatter about 20% of the time. That's what I read. And I can actually withstand 20%. Yeah, I'm like, I don't mind so much if they shatter 20% of the time personally, but that's just me. And the same thing applies with Reaper's Toll. I feel like the kill speed you gain from having Reaper's Toll Mercenary is worth it. Is worth the body shattering, because you can actually do more runs in that time span when you get Decrep proc and you can just one-shot them. So it's pretty huge, okay? Alright, so I've covered a couple things there already. Damn, wrecked. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not really that crazy. I mean, like, Casey's Poison Necro would absolutely dumpster Trav faster than this Barb can. But what the Barb has over other characters is that it has find item, so you can, of course, pop bodies twice. Well, 50 to 57% chance, I guess. Right now I'm rocking 50 on purpose, but you could probably boost it up to, like, I think it's 57. But anyway, that's besides the point. Okay, primarily for MF, but wouldn't mind GF as well as for those gambling stuff. Yeah, then there's a couple ways you can do it. Is it viable without Fort and Grief? Absolutely. Find item is cool, makes it like 2 for 1. Exactly, it's 2 for 1. I don't like to say 2 for 1 because it's not entirely accurate, like, since it's only a 50% chance to 57% chance. So it's not quite 2 for 1, but of course, I mean, I'm not trying to nitpick. I know exactly what you mean, of course, but just keeping that in mind. Now, the next thing, your Gold Find Barb had 3.3 million at Trav in less than 10 minutes. Yeah, exactly. So there you go. There's one testimonial from somebody who has actually actively made a Gold Find Barb. Well, okay, I made one too, but here, I want to show you something. I want to actually show you something. This was my, I'm sure you recall my singer. I actually don't know if you were here for that season. When I think this was a little before you began, but yeah, I made a singer barbarian, and oh yeah, he still eats up mana super fast. But anyway, yeah, yeah, no, he's not kidding. Like back when I had my first incarnation. Well, actually, no. Let me take a step back. My Barb, like this singer Barb, like right now he's rocking Enigma, he's got dual spirits, and he just spams Warcry. But like, before he ended up at this stage, he had a lot of equipment on his he used to have a lot of gold fine equipment, and then I had a character that was carrying all the gold fine equipment, and I would just switch equipment with that mule anytime I wanted to go gold finding, for example. So there's one option, right? Anyway, having said that, let's go over this. So, is it viable without Fort and Grief? Absolutely. Preferably with gear costing Gull and below per item. Yeah, once again, absolutely. There's so many different ways you can build a barb. That's the awesome part about a barb. If you want to go expensive, you can use this barb as the template. I don't normally like to say, oh yeah, just copy the build, but yeah, if you really want like if you have like unlimited wealth, let's just say hypothetically, then you can go grief with Enigma even if you want to go super expensive. If you want to go semi-expensive, you can just go grief fortitude. But this is all if you're trying to build like a whirlwind barb. You don't even need all of this stuff. Okay, I'm just showing you like this is why I wanted to demo. There's like lots of different ways. Saying mana cost is too high, it's dumb. Okay, so that's I'm glad you talked about that too. So for a while, here, let me address the mana cost in a bit, because I figured out a way around that, and this is one of the reasons why I love the Singer Barb. It's another one of those builds which a lot of people who are less familiar with it will say that. But actually, there's some very interesting quirks about this build that I would love to show you, Casey, because I don't think anyone else on the server will. Okay, so semis. Going back to you. So without Fort and Groot, no, fuck mana after each kill. It's not a Jabazon. So with regards to the Fort and the Grief, okay, this character right here can also run Trav by himself, easy peasy, right? Like, I mean, I know I have Enigma, but I could do this with even like a Telly staff, and I just sit here and I would just spam Warcry. Of course, I have battle orders on my Merc, so he can basically just he can probably tank just about everything. I have maxed out battle orders, I think. Yeah, I maxed out battle orders. Like, this is the beauty of a Trav Barb. You don't really need to have decked out equipment. Like look at this character, right? Okay, yeah, I'm using Arachnid Sash, but if you went like dual spirits with like, I don't know, like a res helmet, or like I don't know, you can even throw on Shaco, I guess. Like, Shaco's probably well within your budget. You could go double dwarf stars if you want, with like Chadseas and War Travs. Like, there's, and of course in place of this, you could put on Wealth, you could put on Smoke, you could put on I don't know, let's say Viper Magi, probably, even if you're worried about survivability. And then you could fill up the rest of your inventory. Like, look at this. I'm rocking Warcry's charms, but a lot of your damage will come from your Merc anyway. I think that's probably something I should have mentioned earlier. If you're trying to make a Barb where like, you're trying to address it for Trav specifically, yes, my life barely dropped, but don't worry so much about that. That's really not a big deal. Like, if this character is already fully geared, like, that shouldn't be a measure of anything. Look, my point here is, your Merc is, okay, with my Whirlwind Barb, I was doing most of the damage myself, but if, you want to say, okay, well, fuck the rest of my character's equipment, I don't want to go, like, dual grief, you could actually go Warcry, or you could even just do Leap. Some people just spam Leap, and it actually CCs a lot of these monsters, and you can actually have Nagistaff on Switch, right? You can just, with Nagistaff on Switch, you can teleport into a pack, you can cast Warcry, or you can start casting Leap, and then you can just let your Merc pick them off. I'm using Reaper's Toll here, Ed the Reaper's Toll, but you could throw on, like, Obedience, BOTD, like, there's a lot of options there. So yeah, but the trick here is to try and keep your, like, if you're trying to make like a gold fine Barb, you're probably going to want to max out battle orders to keep your Merc alive. I think that's the trick there. But once again, right, that's one way to do it. You can go Warcry with like budget equipment being double spirits with like Nagistaff on Switch. The rest of your equipment, as long as you're surviving, it doesn't really matter. You can go like all gold fine GCs and small charms with like a fucking double dwarf star and like some MF equipment. If you want to juggle it like that, have a bit of MF and gold fine, like this character, this character you see here is rocking 344 MF, but that's because it's a pit singer. It's meant to run pits. But if you were to sub out like all of your inventory for gold find GCs and small charms, you could very easily hit, let's say 1000% MF. With chances, with gold wrap, with double dwarf stars, that's easily 1000, I think, gold find. Okay, so there's, once again, if you can do like some gold find, and you can also do MF too, right? You can actually just skip all of that and just use the equipment I'm wearing here. Basically, that's also an option, right? And using an Eth Reapers with a 30 ED, 30 gold find jewel, yeah. See, there you go. There's Casey's. Idea. Oh. There was a little detail I forgot to mention. I said dual spirit swords. What you could also do, instead of dual spirits, you can actually go double blades of Alibaba. Yeah? You go 2 blades of Alibaba, because the thing with Warcry is, I mean, my Warcry here is doing some damage, but if, for example, my Merc was the one doing most of the killing, or I wanted my Merc to do most of the killing, I could just set it to Warcry. Or I could maybe do like 1 point Warcry and then just stun, like, if stun length is all that matters, then, you know, just put 1 point, or if the damage doesn't really matter and you just want to stun them, then just put 1 point into Warcry, and then put Blades of Alibaba on your main hand, and then put Nagistaff on Switch. Then that way, your runs are self-sufficient, or like can self-sustain themselves. You're already making plenty of gold from the runs themselves. I really wish I had a gold find barb, like a budget gold find barb that I could demo for you, but this character has already evolved well beyond the gold find equipment that I was originally wearing on him. It used to be double Blades of Alibaba, so I get a shit ton of MF, I get a shit ton of gold find. I have Nagistaff on Switch. I would teleport in the pack, I'd Warcry, and then let my Merc go to town on them. And then, of course, afterwards, I just hork them with the Blades of Alibaba. So that's how I did it. So yeah, let me know if you have any other questions specific about the build. But yeah, that's kind of the idea there. That's definitely something that I figure would have been that's a lot easier to show you through, you know, actual gameplay and examples of characters I've made and built and blah blah blah, rather than actually trying to write that shit all out. So thanks for dropping by. Okay, so that, I think, covers everything I wanted to say about Gold Find Barb. Now, in the case of Casey, Casey was talking about Warcry while Merc kills shit. Yeah, exactly. So that was how it was done. Will mana be an issue if I try Warcry with budget gear? Okay, so I'll be honest, yeah, it kinda is. So there are there's a couple ways, a couple things to consider, okay? When you're in Trav, when you're spamming Warcry, I think the first thing I mentioned is you're going to want to have battle orders maxed out. Okay, that's going to be very key to making sure you don't run out of mana. Second thing is, here you saw that I Warcried them to death. You don't really need to Warcry them to death if you're trying to if you're trying to only trying to stun them with budget gear, right? All you really need to do if you're just trying to stun them is Warcry once, and then they're basically stunned for what, like close to 10 seconds, right? So it's actually only an issue if you're holding down right click to try and kill monsters, but if you're not, then you'll see that, you know, the mana pool goes up just fine. You can just go Warcry, and you just sit there for a couple seconds while your Merc goes to town on them, and then Warcry again. And by the way, here I'm using Treachery, or as Tretch, but that's because I was running Pits. Probably if you want to keep your Merc alive here in Trav, I would actually recommend Gladiator's Bane. Very underrated armor for if you're running Trav specifically. Because it'll actually keep your Merc, especially with Battle Orders, it'll keep your Merc alive, especially when you're going up against Hydras, okay? So yeah, mana is an issue if you're spamming Warcry, if you want to actually kill them. But if you're not spamming Warcry, then it shouldn't be a problem. Even if you are spamming Warcry, by the way, this is something I forgot to mention. You'll see right here, I have my entire belt filled with rejuves. Once again, that's because I run Pits. If you want to not run out of mana so easily on Trav, and you want to spam Warcry, then actually just fill up your belt with like mana potions. You could do like 2 columns or 3 columns. But yeah, just have one column full with mana potions, and I think that'll do the trick. Okay. Now, Casey, I think you're still here. Let me. You were asking about the mana cost being too high for Warcry, and it is. So here's the thing. Okay, there's two solutions to this. The first is insight. Well, it's not really a solution. Insight's not really a solution, but it helps mitigate the problem by a significant amount. Okay, so actually, there's three solutions to this. The first is insight. A lot of people use insight. Personally, I fucking hate insight on my barb. I prefer Reaper's Toll by a significant margin because you're essentially like boosting your damage by somewhere between 50 and 100%, or your DPS by 50 to 100% if you get the Decrep proc off, which is huge, right? Especially when you're coming up across monsters that have like fucking Stone Skin or some shit, then that's a problem. But that's besides the point. Insight is really good. Like it does help your mana pool or prevent mana consumption, whatever. But that's, you know, most people will recommend that. I actually personally hate it. But it is a way to help solve your mana problem. So there's one way to do it. Second way to do it is mana potions. Like I was just saying to Pussinality, you could just fill in one column full with mana potions, whatever, and then you could just chug them down as you go along. All right. And I'm gonna show you the third one, Casey, if you're still around. I'm gonna demo a pits run, and I want to show you something. Because, like I said, I don't know how many other people have actually built a singer on Slash. I might be one of the very few people who've done it. So check this out, okay? So this is the third way. This is the third way that I figured out. So the thing about this build to consider is that I usually only focus the champ packs to begin with. Now, here's what I want to show you. Okay, so I got mana burned. But, so, anytime I either get mana burned or I run out of mana, I'll actually just chug down a full rejuve. That was my solution. Because what I realized with this build is I actually get full rejuves more quickly than I get... okay, hold on. I'm going to stop the demo right here because I'm actually about to level and I really didn't want to level this character to 94. But the idea was... The idea that I came up with, that I realized, is that I'm actually getting full rejuves in pits faster than I'm consuming them. So especially with find item, right? So what fear have I to chug down full rejuves or to run out of mana when with battle orders I usually have more than enough to finish a run, but if, you know, all shit, if problems arise, then I'll just chug down a full rejuve. So that's the third solution, full rejuves. And here's the thing, you might think, okay, hold on, D2, but wait, there you go. But here's another problem. Like, what if, you know, for some reason you come across an area like, let's say P8, where you actually don't have enough full rejuves? Well, I also found a solution to that, and that's the skill find potion. Just after you kill a bunch of, like, a pack of monsters, just find potion a bunch of them, and bam, you'll come across a full rejuve easily. Maybe 2 or 3 of them out of a pack of let's say 7 will drop full rejuve sometimes too. So it's like, okay, you'll never actually have an issue with mana. That's how you solve the issue. Full rejuves. Yeah. Did you just suggest mana pots as a solution to mana problems? Yes, I did. I legit did. It's a legit... Well, okay, I see what you're saying. It's kind of like a no-shit Sherlock, but I mean, well, once again, right, like if you're having mana issues, then, well, yeah, that's always on the table, but people hate doing that, so I'm saying that this is the alternative. Chug down full rejuves instead, which, once again, that's a little bit more difficult to juggle, but it's definitely worth it. Rejuve plenty in pits. Yeah, exactly. And even if it's not pits, once again, find potion, you will find a mana potion. I guarantee it. Or not a mana potion, a full rejuve potion. 200 FCR Warcry Barb with dual Suicide Branch. I went to length like putting P Sapphires and Sagas. Yeah, no, see, that's the thing. Like, some people go, like, a lot of people will, in the past have done 200 FCR Warcry Barb and shit like that. I couldn't really push more than... Well, I mean, here's the thing. I don't like the idea of 200. I feel like I give up too much damage per cast of Warcry, which is why I didn't do it. Also, back before they added GS4, I couldn't really run the... Like, this build was playable, but I used to double telly a lot, so I really didn't want to try to push 200. I just really didn't think it was worth it at all. So yeah, that was part of the issue. Um, but yeah, no, that's pretty clever though. Dual suicide branches, P sapphires and sockets. Yeah, no. For me, like with this character, I just go full rejuves all the way. Battle orders into full rejuves and find potion in worst case scenario. 202. Oh yeah, no, I don't blame you. I mean, here's the thing, right? Like I said, when I was playing this build last, like the season that I actually made it, there was no such thing as GS4. This was before you even started playing on the server, so there was no such thing as GS4. So actually trying to push 200 was unthinkable for me at the time. In the future, if I have a season where I'm bored out of my mind, maybe I'll revisit this character. I'll try to push 200 FCR that season, but that probably won't be anytime soon. I still have things I want to do this season, of course. Got my martial arts assassin. Next season I have something planned already. The season after I'll also have something planned, or I already have something planned. Like, yeah, so yeah. Yeah, 200 FCR, 3 Warcry, 20 FCR, 2 open sockets with 2 sapphires, and that's pretty crazy. That's awesome. I'm glad that you actually went and tried an unusual build, rather than just I'm gonna spam Necro or Sork or whatever. So yeah, kudos to you for that. But yeah, no, I hear that you've had a really good run with your Necro this season, so that's also really good. Okay, that is really nice to hear that your Poison Necro's been kicking ass. Although I don't know how much you're worth in terms of ohms now. I would love to compare, but I think I would just embarrass myself. Okay, so I want to get this out of the way. I'm glad that all of you guys tuned in today. Well, this isn't my usual crowd, but I do have a bit of an announcement to make. Your barb name, so I can check out the skill tree and armory. So does the... Oh, you can use any swords. I use broadsword because, well, I mean, they're the... Longswords have a dex requirement. Broadswords don't have a dex requirement. Longswords do, so... I mean, I just went with broadswords. I think also the strength requirement's lower or some shit, but... Anyway. Okay, here you go. This is the Singer barb. I'll link you directly to it. You can go check that out. And if you have questions, let me know. Feel free to ping me. But yeah, once again, right, like, there's a lot of different ways you can build a Trav barb. That's why I wanted to talk to you directly, because yeah, I mean, if you want to build them for gold find, you can do that. If you want to build them for, fuck knows what, then you can do that, right? So, anyway, so I want to show you guys something. Well, at this point, you guys can go back to farming and doing whatever. I'm done with the demo of my barb, so there's not really much to. Hey, it's easy. Yes, noob 2, noob 2. It changes every time. Tuber to noob 2, noob 2. Fair enough. I'm gonna put some skills in on my barb following that. Okay, I'll at least try to try it first with Sing, and if Mana becomes too much of an issue, I'll reset to maybe WW next. I mean, play around with it. Honestly, it's all up to you. Like I said, if Mana is an issue for you, then you can always just Warcry once, and then just let your Merc do his thing. Right? I mean, that's mostly your job as a support gold find Trav barb anyway. Or, like I said, there's a lot of different, just figure out a playstyle that works for you. I showed you at least 3 different ways you can do it. You can pick from them, or play around with it. If you don't like any of them, then go Whirlwind Barb. I mean, that's always an option too. And you can certainly run Trav with double Oaths. Oath is, it's like a poor man's grief, right? Like, it's a nice alternative. It requires a Mal, I think Pull and Mal, but honestly, yeah, I think you're probably at a point now where you can easily afford a Pull and a Mal, maybe not so much a low rune for grief, right? So yeah, like I said, if Singer's not cutting it for you, then go make 2 Oaths, and you could go double Oath Balrog, or double Balrog Blade Oath Whirlwind Barb. That's an option for you. So plenty of different options for your Trav Barb. Okay, now. With regards to the character that I'm currently using this season, it is the Martial Arts Assassin, for those who are unfamiliar. I think most of you guys are. But yeah, so this is the Martial Arts Assassin, the Phoenix Striker. So at this point, I don't think that I have any like substantial gear. Actually, no, I do have some gear upgrades that I want to share with you guys. So, two things. My inventory is pretty much decked out on lifers. I have 4 lifers here. And I actually have one other lifer. I think it's a 37 lifer. But right now I'm using this GC so that I can keep my res positive. Well, okay, I mean it's positive without it, but basically I don't want to get I don't want to get melted when I well, I guess I can't really call it melted, but if I come across, this is the thing, a lot of people downplay, well, a lot of people don't really have an issue with dealing with like cold damage because they take things at a distance. But right now, probably the most dangerous monster that I could go up against is one that's lightning cold enchanted, because the charged bolts that those monsters kind of like release, they actually carry over the cold damage, or yeah, the cold damage from cold enchanted. So I actually need to make sure that my cold resistance isn't like 0, basically, or else I'll just die. So, having said that, I actually need to keep this GC on me so that I can stay alive until I can fill out my inventory with 7MF small charms that have cold res, which I'm looking for, by the way. If you guys have 7MF small charms that have cold res, please ping me. I might be willing to buy them. I think I put an offer for a 7MF 10 cold res for like IST earlier today. I don't know if that's an offer that you guys would be happy with. I extend the same offer to you guys if you have any, but point is, I'd love to have my last MAGC if possible. But that's kind of where I'm at. The rest of my inventory right now, I did get one 7MF 10 cold res small charm. I didn't really upgrade that much since the last time I was on. I sold a bunch of my items. I broke somebody's Vex, so I'm basically up to, I have a Vex right now, and a bunch of smaller runes. And of course, I'm still trying to get rid of these small charms, like these plain 7MF SEs and the non 7MF SEs, because I want to actually push 300 MF before I start farming the next area, and that area I was going to unveil today. So let's actually show the area that I was talking about. You change for that gull still. I got 2 IST now. I need to change that gull. Oh yeah, no, I'm good now. I no longer have a gull, so yeah, I'm up to Vex now. I found a gull today in ancient tunnels off of the chest. Thank you though. Okay, so I want to show you guys this run. So this is, I was gonna do demos of like other areas, but you guys have seen plenty of that. I want to show you guys now the main goal for the season. Okay. The main goal for this season, originally I was going to do 1,000 Mausoleum. I've changed my mind. I am going to actually try to do 1,000 runs of Worldstone Keep, level 2. And I feel like this is actually a good, character for the job. The reason being that this character actually has 3 types of damage. I never really had to deal with any elemental immunities, and well, it's one of those areas which are kind of interesting. Like, a lot of people farm it, but we don't really have like a comprehensive set of results on what has come out of 1,000 WSK runs. So I wanted to actually set out to full clear it 1,000 times. And WSK is a really interesting area because there's a lot of variability in it. The types of monsters varies from run to run. There's a lot of different types of monsters you can get. Sometimes you get flares, sometimes you get souls, sometimes you get both, and sometimes you get neither. You can get bats, you can get scarabs, like you can get mummies which give XP. You really never know what to expect there, okay? Having said that though, I want to also point out that I actually have a specific set of equipment for pretty much every area that I farm now. WSK especially, I have come to realize that if I'm going to farm WSK, what I need is actually to have Jade Talon and Bartux on Switch, okay? And the reason for this is that if I'm going to be waltzing into a pack of souls, I need to make sure that I pop Cloak of Shadows, or I'm just going to get mauled outright by lightning. Or at least maybe my Merc will get mauled by lightning. Speaking of my Merc, oh, and there's souls in this level, so that's just lovely. This Merc, I actually threw the Guardian Angel on him. And I socketed all of his equipment. I paid an IST for 3 socket quests because I was sick of this shit. Threw an IAS Jewel into his mask, put a Shale into his Reaper's Toll so he can attack quicker. And then finally his armor, his Guardian Angel, I threw on an Ort. And this is to try and max out his light res up to 90. Okay, so I took these steps so that I can at least keep my Merc alive, at least before I make it to CTA, which is actually going to be my next upgrade. Okay, so this is actually my first run of WSK. If anyone's curious as to how the build performs in WSK, feel free to watch. But otherwise, I'll just talk as I usually do as I do this run. Yeah. Okay. So already I can see this is a pretty interesting. This is going to be kind of interesting. Since it looks like the mob density on this level is actually going to be super tiny. Like there's really no monsters. One of the things I want to point out with regards to these souls, well, there's actually 2 things. First thing is it's easiest to deal with them using. Oh shit! Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Like these guys will murder me if I don't look out for them. There's 2 things to note with these souls. The first is that the souls have mana drain, and that's actually a really big problem for me. I don't have a really easy way to deal with mana drain. If they sap my mana, I can actually sometimes prematurely release my charges, which is not a good thing, obviously. The other problem, too, is that, well, the other thing that I noted was that fire, or Fist of Fire, seems to be a really good tool for dealing with souls. So I've made a lot of observations while I was off stream. I've been playing on and off in the last couple of days. I just didn't have the time to stream, but I did have time to play a little bit here and there. And in the process, I tried to make it so that I wouldn't embarrass myself for the next time I actually began my 1,000 runs of WSK. Alright, so this is kind of where I'm at. And I think this is what I'm talking about. I prematurely released my charges. But that's okay now, because all the souls are dead. You'll also notice that I subbed, and I mean, guys, if you have other questions about the build, feel free to ask, but I mean, I'm going to go on a limb and guess that you guys have already seen most of what this build has to offer, to be honest. It's really just a question of the execution at this point. So yeah, you see, I'm waltzing into these souls here, and I walk in and I open up with Cloak of Shadows. If I don't waltz in with Cloak of Shadows, then it's not a death sentence necessarily, but I chug down a lot more potions than I want to. So I don't like to go in without Cloak of Shadows. I also make sure that I have Jade Talon. On any level where there's souls, I use Jade Talon and Bartux. On any level where there's no souls, I don't use Jade Talon and Bartux. That's how I divvy it up. It's pretty complicated, but I mean that's kind of where I'm at now with this character. And this was the best I could do for this level. Souls are a massive problem. And keep in mind, like, yeah, keep in mind that this is with 85 lightning res too. Okay, this is not like, it's not like I don't have any light res. Like, I legit have 85 light res, but even then, these monsters can kill me. Because I don't. Yeah, they actually do a lot of damage, despite me negating a good chunk of their damage. So, something to consider. As more time goes on, as I get more adjusted to this build, I'm hoping that I can actually push these runtimes on souls to well under 3 or possibly 4 minutes. Well, 4, possibly 3 minutes, I should say. But right now, that's kind of a bit of a pipe dream. I think on the at the very least on the levels where there are no souls, I can actually do it in like sub 3. But souls are a massive problem for me. If I want to make sure I don't die, then of course I gotta step up my game and make sure that I kill him at a pace that my build is capable of doing. Okay, so there. Okay, yeah, so I'm just gonna continue doing the runs. Let's see. Okay, so this is one of those levels where there are flares, but it looks like there's no souls, so I should be able to handle this without too much difficulty at all. As long as I don't dragonflight into them. This is the catch. If I dragonflight into them, then they'll murder me, basically. That's the catch. You'll also notice that I took the liberty of throwing Reaper's Toll onto my mercenary. I realized that Reaper's Toll is the way to go here in Worldstone Keep, because these monsters are just way too dangerous if I don't. So. Okay, well. Yeah, even here, the monsters are incredibly dangerous, as I think you can very well tell. Hey, look, it's a Vita lifer. That would have been great. Run number 2. I get. Oh, actually, no. Sorry. These runs are. I'm gonna have to call these runs a wash in a second. I just remembered. I'm not rocking the right amount of MF that I'm supposed to be running. I'm gonna switch that and I'll try again. Yeah, but. Yeah, I just realized. Part of the problem with why I haven't done any runs up until now is because for the longest time, I didn't have access to 300 MF. So, yeah, for these runs of WSK, one of the variables I want to keep contained is MF, and I want to make sure that I maintain 300 MF. So right now, where I can get the last 4 MF, I need to sub out this small charm. This small charm. This is going to be a huge blow to my light res, I think. I'm going to replace it with 2 7 MF small charms. Okay, 2 7 MF small charms. That puts me up to. Hey, Seth, what's up? Yeah, you missed a lot of my explanation. I probably should have pinged you. That's my bad. But I figured you would be here sooner than later. So you didn't get the notification. Yes, Twitch at work once again. Yeah, it's all good, man. I mean, I should have filled you in, but anyway, it's all good. I mean, to be fair, I was in a rush to get started because Emmy Semis, or Pussinality, as his in-game name is, was asking about a Trav Barb, and I would figure that it would make more sense for me to demo the character rather than actually trying to try to explain in game. Got most of the explanation already. Okay, cool. That's true, actually. I did already explain these things to you, so it's not really a big deal. So this is what I came up with, okay? Because you guys see that if I have my Shaco on and I have my 7 MF SCs like this, I'm actually 1 MF short. Yeah, I'm 1 MF short. The easiest way I could come up with to hit 300 MF on this character, given these circumstances, was to do the following, okay? And I can't believe I'm doing this. I've never done this, I don't think, on any character of mine. But in order to hit 300 MF, I actually need the 1 extra point of MF that comes from... Yes, I am very proud of you that you got your Enigma. There you go. Istid Shaka, 300 MF. That was the only way I could come up with to hit 300 MF after. Oh yeah, I also forgot to mention I upgraded my geeds. I turned my 31 geeds into, like, I paid an ohm for 40 geeds, which might have been total overpay. I didn't realize that this season they're going so cheaply, but or that the demand was so low on them. I know in past seasons it was actually a lot higher, but oh well, that's okay. It's no big deal. I could have used that ohm for CTA, but besides the point. So I can now hit 300 MF. 300 MF, and I can begin the next area that I intend to farm, which is, as I mentioned before, WSK. So I'm gonna, once again, try to start this from scratch. Run number 1, GS4-1, and we're gonna begin this run. Okay, and it's full clears. Full clears of WSK. So yeah. Anyway, Seth, once again, congratulations on your Enigma. That's awesome. I'm happy that you are, well, that you were able to make it there. And it also sounds like you're really enjoying your Enigma, so that's also really good, of course. Okay, well, okay, I'm gonna just quickly. Okay, hold on a sec. That's a okay. Fanat pack of souls guarding the entrance to any farther in the throne room. Yeah, so this is what I'm talking about. I don't have a very easy way to deal with a collection of monsters like that. All I've got is to waltz over to cast Fanat. Does he have Might too? Looks like they got Might too. Oh, that's just awesome. I can disarm them with Fanat, but it doesn't last forever. Okay, so at least I managed to take out the boss, at least one of them. And I can also CC them using Mind Blast, but once again, it's not very stable. There you go. Okay, good. So now I can actually focus on killing the rest because the oh no, they still have Fanat. What the fuck? And also, like, there's just a lot of issues here, as you can see. I mean, I'm slowly killing them. I don't know why. There's fucking 3. Like, I thought that there was only 2 of them, but there's actually 3. No, 4. 4 unique monsters. No wonder it was so difficult to deal with them. Yeah, right at the entrance into WSK, there's fucking 4 unique packs greeting me, along with souls. Like I see this shit, and it's actually kind of a challenge for me to deal with that. For this, I want to actually have, on my Switch, I want to actually have Call to Arms. I think that'd help the speed up my runs, and that would also help the success rate, so I don't die, or my Merc is less prone to dying, but of course, that's a bit of a pipe dream right now. 20 life, or 20 life Vita small charm, that's pretty nice. Well, anyway, at the very least, I can proceed with the rest of WSK, although, of course, WSK itself is pretty scary. Have to do my thing here. Okay, cool. Okay, and I'm gonna fade, and then I'll probably... Okay. There's yet another issue, too. This, you have matching Geeds, WTH. I think they are perfect matching. Oh, you mean in terms of what? Oh yeah, you have a 40 Geeds. That's crazy. I didn't realize you had a 40 Geeds, too. 24% extra gold for monsters. Nice, nice. Ah, sure. Might as well sell this in Boss Plate. Yeah, this is a slow-ass run, but it's been kind of crazy. Oh, all the mods. Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the graphics, but I guess not. Alright, so once again, hey look, a shit ton of souls. I can teleport here. I think... Okay, this should kill him at least. Yeah, there you go. Now, as long as I disarm whatever boss is there, I can deal with the souls individually. At least while this shit's still up. There's a lot of things to manage. If I'm cursed too, I also switch back to Plague so I can purge this shit off my head before I go. Yeah, this is easily the most difficult character I think I've had to play up until now. No doubt about it. Like, at least with the, well, the thing with Zealers is that, or like the Zealer Pally, they have max block, and they have, like, a lot of sources for res because of their fucking shields and shit. So survivability was never really a problem with them. And I was only really running Duriel with them, and he had a way to life leech that shit. So survivability was fine on that character. And same with the Whirlwind Barb too. He had durability because of his battle orders and because he had lifesteal off of Whirlwind. Among other things, of course, like, but this character is a little bit tougher to work with. Well, tougher in some regards, I guess. Tougher in some regards. Okay. Paying Pull for Chaos Leech. Yeah, so that's another... Okay, and I mean, it took me 6... Pull. It took me about 6 minutes to finish this run, but I mean, that was probably the most difficult WSK I think I've encountered. I'm actually amazed in retrospect that I was able to complete the entire thing. Okay, so that was the first run of WSK, first official run. I think I'm still stuck at my 300 MF, so this looks pretty good. It's going to be a nice, fun time from here on out. Probably going to be streaming for about another hour or so. Something like another hour. And then after that, I will leave off the rest of the runs for another day. But nice to get you guys on board with what I have planned for this season. Yeah, as an aside, I mean, oh, okay, just gonna slowly back away here. Oh, I actually managed to, there you go, there's some of them. I'm on the wrong set of claws, no wonder I'm having so much difficulty. My fucking Cloak of Shadows wore off. Okay, well, that's fine. Ow. I actually took out the boss, so okay, I think I should be fine now, but that shit's scary, dude. I never know which modifiers the bosses spawn with. Especially if they spawn with Conviction, that's like a death sentence. Like, that's why when it comes to Souls, I can't just Dragonflight into them. It's a really bad idea, since I'm basically just asking for trouble. Yeah, I also like having the Plague Claws on Switch, too, because the Plague Claws on Switch, I can... anytime I'm poisoned or cursed, I can switch over to them, and then it'll immediately purge off the curse. Both for me and my Merc. This is, I believe, the case. So, like, right here, switch back over. Okay. Next pack. How did you land on WSK? Ah, so I was talking about that. So here's the thing. I feel like this is just a good character for doing like, not a good character in terms of like honestly, if I wanted to do WSK super quickly, I should actually be using a Poison Necro. There's really no contest there. Like, there's a lot of other characters. Well, I mean, doesn't even have to be Poison Necro. Like, I could have used like the Hammerdin, I could have used Light Sork, I could have used probably even the Windy Druid would have been fine in WSK2. But I realized this. Okay, this is my line of thinking. I think I said originally that I wanted to run Mausoleum with the Assassin, and the reason I wanted to run Mausoleum with the Assassin was because I felt like Mausoleum was just a good place to go for this character, since she had Burst of Speed early ladder, right? I still have Burst of Speed. If I go Harmony with Burst of Speed, I can just Sonic my way through Mausoleum, and that's perfectly fine. But here's the thing. I just didn't think that I just didn't really want to do Mausoleum with this character. Like when it came down to it, like my original plan was to do Mausoleum, and then eventually I changed my mind and I was like, no, I want to do something else, right? And I want to do an area that I haven't already done. That's really important. Like I've already done Chaos, I've already done AT 1,000 times. Like otherwise I might have done 1,000 AT this season even. So with that in mind, right, like where haven't I farmed that I wanted to farm? And one of the areas that came to mind was I haven't actually ever farmed WSK. And that was something I had originally planned to do in a future season. But eventually I was like, you know what, maybe I'll shuffle things around. Yeah, I figured like this character wouldn't be bad for WSK, since she has Fade and Cloak of Shadows, so she has a response to Souls. She has three types of elemental damage, so she always has a way to deal with monsters who are immune or stone skin or whatever fucking shit they throw at me. And I have a way to stack 300 MF while still being able to survive. The runs themselves aren't super efficient, but I can survive, which is, I think, mostly what matters, since I can always reverse engineer whatever drop rates I come up with later, or high rune expected number of runs for high runes and whatever. Like I don't care about that. But anyway, basically, point is this character can successfully full clear WSK with 300 MF. And I didn't want to run Mausoleum. I feel like the time for that has already passed. Yeah, I don't really think there's much reason for me to go and farm Mausoleum a bunch with this character. I just don't really see a point right now. That was supposed to be my way to get to riches, but I ended up vetoing that in favor of WSK because, yeah, I figure it's more interesting, I guess, with this specific character. Yeah. That's what ended up. That's mostly what led me to. That was mostly my thought process for picking out WSK. Also, the other thing I wanted to point out, I don't really have a good. Oh, hey, look, more fucking souls. Okay. I feel like WSK. Like, I'm not 100% sure, but, like, I feel like WSK is one of those areas which actually is considered, like, a really good place to farm by people. And even I have to admit that the mob density for it is actually pretty high. So with that in mind, I was kind of like, I kind of need runes anyway, so I might as well farm WSK. Since this character is well geared enough to handle it at a minimal level, and I can actually use the high amount of wealth that I can get from farming WSK. It's got high mob density, it's got ghosts, or, well, souls, which have a better chance of, well, which have a good chance of dropping runes. Yeah, the flares come in big packs, so that's a huge amount of mob density I can get out of that. And overall, like, WSK is kind of just interesting, so there's a lot of stuff there. There's a lot of stuff to consider. But yeah, basically, the build worked well for it, at least in my opinion. I'm looking for runes, and it's an interesting place to farm. I guess those are the three key core reasons. Anyway, let's... Okay, that's a problem. I just realized I fucked up. I had the plague on by accident. There you go. I detonated the, basically detonated the boss, and then I can let Emilio deal with the rest. On a scale of 1 to 10, how bad is this build? Like, 1 being awful, or 10 being, like, awful? Or, sorry, 1 being the worst, or 10 being the worst? Because, yeah, like... Anyway, it's pretty bad. I'll be honest, I don't know if you're trolling or what, but no, it's pretty bad. Like, I have no other way of putting it. Like, it's just not... It just, for the amount of equipment that it takes to make this character work, at a minimal level, and comparing that to, and considering also how difficult it is to play the character afterwards for various reasons that are like, I don't even know how to say this. It's like the build already has like low damage and it relies on attack rating. So juggling between both of those is like hard, trying to boost the damage while trying to boost attack rating, and then trying to like throw in MF. Those 3 factors alone are already very difficult to do. Then after that, you have to deal with desync, you have to deal with the short attack range. I think I'm also dealing with like monster chance to block or something. Like I don't know. 10 being worst build ever made. I'm gonna be honest, like, in terms of just... I mean, I call it how difficult it is to play, but if you want to say, like, how bad it is, I would kind of put this as, like, an 8. Maybe, like, an 8.5, honestly. Like, I never thought I'd say this, but yeah, it's a pretty shitty build. If your goal is, like, in terms of, like, efficiency, okay, if we're talking strictly in terms of, and it looks like it's the 4th soul spawns in a row, but yeah, if we're talking strictly in terms of efficiency, then yeah, like, this is not at all a good build. Probably the one saving grace about it is well, the 2 saving graces about it is that it has AoE. It has AoE and it has 3 types of elemental damage, so no matter what area you're in, you're always going to have a response for those monsters. But aside from that, it like lacks in pretty much every other department, and it has to deal with so many like external factors that other builds don't have to deal with at all, that it's kind of a pain in the ass, actually. The fact that it's such a challenging build is what makes it interesting for me, but if we're talking straight... And it's fun. Honestly, it's fun to play because it's so difficult. But if we're just comparing in terms of, like... 10 being passes on, 1 being fully kit light sort. Yeah. Honestly, ZZZ, Passives On was something that I was intending to do a couple seasons back. The season that I was playing my Boa, I was actually going to make a Passives On. That was one of my that was one of the things I was supposed to do, but I didn't have the time for it. So I settled for only 2 characters, the Javazon and the Boa. And I mean, the Javazon was mostly there as kind of like you know, it's All Cows Day, and everybody else is taking advantage of All Cows Day, so why don't I also take advantage of it? The Valken tank, anything in hell, can't kill but doesn't die. Hold my beer. Well, I guess that's kinda true. You can make it kill stuff, actually. But, yeah, once again, it takes a bit of effort to make that work out, but that's besides the point. Gonna dodge everything to death. No. Yeah, no. Anyway. Yeah, so ZZ, it's actually a good question. I don't know if you mean it as like a meme or like whatever, but yeah, honestly, it's not at all like there's really nothing about it that stands out, and I think the problems of like actually being able to hit monsters is by far the biggest problem. If honestly I could launch whichever charges I wanted to anytime I wanted to, then actually it wouldn't be that bad. But that this isn't the case is actually, I think, the biggest hindrance to this build, and that's just the bottom line. But still, there are builds that I guess you could say are technically worse or arguably even unfeasible for Hell, right? Like Poison Creeper Druid, for example. Like a pure Poison Creeper Druid, if you could even really define that as a build, like that would be like 10 out of 10 for how shitty it is. Or like, what's the other one? Passives on, I think we were just talking about. Like, that would definitely be up there too, right? Like, this thing could actually still, as you can see, kill shit. The problem is just that it's limited by the heinous number of conditions that go into both the low damage and the, like I said, shit like desync, and, like, look at this. I can't even hit this monster, and that's probably because my, I'm not quite in range. I was also looking into chance to block, or monster chance to block, because I feel like that might have that might have some impact also on why I can't hit shit, but that's a topic for another time. I don't really want to get into that right now. CE Necro, oh, fuck, don't even talk to me, dude. That's like, oh, I'm so triggered right now. No, but seriously, like, okay, other questions. Why am I using Jade and Bartok? Okay, I'm glad somebody asked that. That was something that I forgot to cover. I chose to use Jade, Talon, and Bartok's on Switch because if I don't use Jade, Talon, and Bartok on Switch, on Switch, well, no, let me rephrase this. If I use Plague and I walk into a mob, okay, this happened a lot. Like I did a fair bit of experimenting when I was playing by myself, and this is what happens. Okay, I cast Cloak of Shadows. I walk into the pack. I start whacking them with Plague. And then they attack me, lower res procs off of, well, chance to cast it when struck, and then it overrides Cloak of Shadows on all the nearby monsters, and then I proceed to get mauled by all of the souls at once. So, while I'm, like, right in the thick of things. So yeah, that's why. That's more or less why I needed a replacement. So I looked at my setup, I looked at what I had. Like, usually I have, like, you know, Harmony, or what's that shit called? I have, like, Naj's staff on Switch, or whatever. But the reality is, with this character, or with this character in Worldstone Keep, I felt like it would make the most sense to have on Switch something with res. So I use Jade Talon, and Jade Talon already takes me up to maxed out res, so I just threw on a Bartux because I just happen to have that lying out handy. Gives me some extra plus skills, which is good, of course. Yeah, I don't really know what more to say than that. So yeah, that's basically why. Mostly just because I needed a replacement for Plague, so that the monsters wouldn't just outright fuck me up when I attack them. Hidden block chance, let's go. Yeah, so monsters apparently have a chance to block. It took me a while, like, this was the thing. It was, anyway, I'll talk about that in a second. I wanted to address Seth's and Semi's question, because they're both really good. So yeah, Jade and Bartok on Switch, once again. I needed this as a response to Souls over Plague, because yeah, the fucking lower res proc was killing me. But I need Plague for any time I come across a WSK that's not infested with Souls, right? So that's why I like to have it on Switch. It's much more convenient for me that way. Yeah, I don't really need Nagistaff anyway, to be honest. I really don't. Like, if I'm teleporting around, then I'm just gonna die anyway. Like, I get swamped by all the monsters. I have to go through it like one specific angle, and I gotta clear it bit by bit. I can't just, I can't just tele-stomp everything like a Poison Necro, a Hammerden, or a Sork, so I don't have those options available to me. Okay, next. Semi's question was asking, would you say it's worse than Boazon? The answer is yes. Honestly, yes. 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 And here's another problem. Like, you said Boazon. I assume when you say Boazon, you're talking about, like, a physical Boazon, right? Now, here's the interesting thing about a Boazon. With a physical Boazon, all you really need is a wind force, okay? As soon as you throw on a wind force, you're fine. You're fine. No, like, that's, like, this is how it works. As soon as you get wind force, you can basically do whatever the fuck, well, and laying of hands. Those two things will give you enough damage to carry you through hell. And, here's the thing, when you get these things, okay? Okay, yeah, there you go. these do enough damage to carry you through hell, and you can stay safe because it's a ranged character. These are ranged characters. Like there's no risk. Like let's say you're going to Chaos Sanctuary, just fucking start spamming strafe, or like if you're in Trav, right? Like just keep your distance and start firing as many arrows as you can. Like after playing both builds, I can tell you for sure that like this is the case for Boa. I'm not trying to say that Boa is easy to play because like okay, they have survivability issues of their own, but the big difference between, or one of the biggest things that a Boazon has over a martial arts sin, and a lot of people don't ever really talk about this, is that the Boazon is a ranged character, so really, like, you have a lot more survivability off of that alone. Like, even not before factoring in any, like, oh, well, stats, skills, like, damage, like, whatever, you know, as a boa, you can actually just shoot things at a distance, and you can't really do that with a martial arts assassin. Like, you actually had to be knee deep in the thick of things to do any kind of damage, right? Yeah, and that's just how it is. So yeah, I would definitely say that the martial arts assassin is worse than a Boazon if we're talking strictly in terms of like how good a farmer it is. Okay, like, is it worse than Spearzon? Oh, now that's the question. Yeah. Now that one is a discussion. That one's actually a discussion for another day. But nothing is worse than Spearzon. Yep, Spearzon OP. Yep, Spearzon is truly the #1, man. But no, really, like, yeah. Yeah, so that does hopefully answer your question, though. Like, I'm telling you right now, I've played Ooh, it's actually pretty good. I'll actually hold on to that one. But I've played both. Like, I've played Boa and I've played Assassin, and I'm playing this martial arts assassin right now. I can tell you right now, Boa really wasn't that difficult to play. Boa wasn't that difficult to play. Like, Boa is just fucking, like, keep a distance and then, like, spam strafe and multi-shot once you have Enigma. Or at least, in my case, when I had an Enigma, I fucking spam multi-shot, like, whatever. It's really not that, especially once you get multi-shot down. It was challenging to get the mechanics down, but once I do, I can run 2-minute bits. Okay, no problem, like, no big deal. There's nothing else to it. There's no desync I need to deal with. There's no like, survivability issues. There's none of that. There's seriously none of that. So, oh my, yeah, this is what I'm talking about, dude. If this were a Boa, you know, they, like, okay, you got a bunch of electricity going around. They don't give a shit. They'll just stay away from the charged bolts. Yeah, no one runs it because of how overpowered it is. It would ruin Slash's economy instantly. Yeah. Did my Zon ever die to Pindle? Yeah. Yes, EZZ, I did. But I would say this is more, like, I can honestly say that this was more because of my inexperience with the build, more so than it being, like, a weakness of the build that I was playing. Like, I'll be honest, like, oh cool, they want to burn me. Oh, that's cute. That's, yeah. See, I'm using Plague on this Woldstone Keep because there's no souls, right? Hey, what's up, Kung Fu Joe? And I think that is the end of my run. Okay. Varus basically like, yeah, D-Web has no FCR, so I don't want it. Yeah, it's like, yeah, I don't know, man. Normally I try and explain why, but I think people in chat will do it, and also, yeah, I don't know if I want to do that right now. That's okay. So how you doing, Kung Fu Joe? What's that? Vex Skull is the dome break? Damn, dude. That's the nicest dome break I've ever seen as of lately. Anyway, hidden block chance. Okay, so I want to talk about something that actually has been bothering me. Well, actually, I mean, you guys already know this, but it hit ahead, like, it got to the peak, I think, a couple nights ago, okay? I was, oh, and here's fucking flares and souls. Okay, nice to know. But anyway, yeah, so a couple nights ago, I had a bit of an epiphany, okay? And this epiphany has to do with when I go up against... Yeah, this epiphany has to do with when I was going up against... It was Bale, yeah. I was running some believe it or not, silly old me decided, let's run some WSK for shits and giggles. I'm actually curious to see if I can even run a WSK at this point. And the answer, long story short, is I can, but it fucking sucks. It took me about 5 minutes to get through a Lister, so I even made it that far is, I guess, a miracle. But here's the problem, okay? Now, after I cleared Throne Room, I decided to try and fight Bale. Alright, I was like, you know what, let's give this a shot. I'm curious to see how this is going to turn out. I wonder how long this shit's going to take. And I kind of gave up. I kind of gave up because even though the lying character screen says I think it was an 82% chance to hit Bale, I definitely wasn't hitting Bale 82% of the time. Okay? And I was like, huh, this is very peculiar. Why can't I hit Bale 82% of the time, or whatever the fuck it says on the lying character screen? Okay? And so I dug into it a little bit, and I realized that Bale actually has a chance to block. Alright, so Bale has a chance to block. When I was digging a little bit deeper into it, I also realized that Andy, Duriel, Mephisto, Diablo all also have a chance to block. And more than that, you know how I always used to complain about the fucking Fallen in the pits, who just mysteriously, like, my hits would mysteriously whiff on, like, when I try to hit them? Yeah, apparently they have, like a 15% chance to block, too, or some shit like that. Basically, the epiphany that I hit was that monsters have block chances. Some of them. And I've never really paid much attention to this, because I usually just plow through them with, you know, whatever character I'm using, or I'm, you know, usually playing like a caster of some kind, so I don't give a fuck either way. But, it turns out that I think this might be part of the reason why I'm having such a difficult time with hitting specific monsters. One of the things I wanted to test with this new knowledge was, you know, I wanted to take it into the secret cow level. And I was like, okay, I'm going to try the secret cow level, because I always used to talk shit about me being able to hit cows, but me not being able to hit any other monsters. So I was like, I checked it, and I realized that cows actually had no chance to block. Like, 0. So I go over into cow level, and I actually can hit the cows, like pretty much every time. And this was the case last time too, which is what got me kind of curious. I can hit the cows every time. I have a 90, well, not every time, but like 95% of the time, which is what it says. Like, when my attack rating is fucking 20,000 and I'm going to secret cow level with a 10 level advantage, my chance to hit is like fucking 95%, which makes sense. And I'm hitting them 95% of the time. The cows specifically, but I can't hit certain other monsters. So yeah, I straight up after that, well, basically the bottom line is chance to block, I think, might be another contributing factor. Not the only contributing factor. I legitimately think desync is an issue. My character's low range on her claws is an issue, and I also think that now possibly monster chance to block can be an issue, because not every monster has a chance to block, or, well, yeah, not every monster has a chance to block, and apparently, like, I don't know exactly how it works, but apparently the monsters themselves need to have a block animation for the block to actually, like, for the block value they have to actually mean anything. And not all monsters have this, so So yeah, go figure. So yeah, it's something that I have to look more deeply into later, or maybe I'll just suck it up and fucking give up on it. But yeah, that's what I had found out lately, and it kind of sucks. But that's apparently what is, or that's one of the things I think is going on. I have no. They can block with no animation too. Yes. Okay. So this is the thing that gets me. ZZZ. Some of the sources. Okay, some of the sources I looked at, which aren't the most reputable sources, say that the monsters need to have an animation to block. But from my experience, this isn't necessarily the case. If my inability to play this character has been any indicator, because like I think Ari at Summit says this, that they apparently, and I know Ari at Summit, like I said, it's not the most reliable source by any means, but that's what Ari at Summit said. That's what a few other websites said. Okay. Yeah, that's why I said I need to dig more deeply into it, because the sources that I've consulted aren't exactly the sources that I trust the most by any means, but that's what they said, so I'm not entirely sure. But it was something that kind of got me thinking, okay, maybe this is why I'm having such a difficult time trying to hit fucking Andy when I have a 90+% chance to hit her, or when I'm trying to hit fucking, like, cows and I hit them every time. Like, what could be causing this? So, yeah, I mean, yes, sometimes I think my claws just have way too low reach in order to hit the monsters. Fair enough. Desync, okay, I can get behind that, but I think also this chance to block shit is also a contributing factor too. Now, so a lot of stuff that I dug into. Once again, like, it's just stuff that I noticed in the last couple days. After I tried to take on Bale, and that turned out to be one big shit show. So. By the way, Seth, you were talking about the 5 poison res. To be honest, I don't really prioritize poison res that much. Like, I mean, I guess ideally I should just go double Jade Talon. It'd probably make my life a lot easier, but to tell you the truth, I don't really care much for... poison res. Because with poison res, I can always just switch over to Plague Claws. If I poison, I just switch over to Plague, and Plague reduces, or sorry, Cleansing Aura, I think, reduces the length that I'm poisoned by about 82%, I think. So basically, as soon as I switch over to Plague, it ticks for 1 or 2 more, or it does 1 or 2 more ticks, and then it just gets purged off. It is definitely a thing. Like, barbs do it when whirlwinding, and anytime you block with an animation on your character, there's a cooldown where you continue to block without an animation until it resets. Yes. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, no, that's true. But still, I thought that this was something specifically for monsters. But once again, I don't know the fucking internals. Okay, it's not like fucking League of Legends where most of this stuff is like posted somewhere or another. It's not like there's some kind of fucking manual that tells you these things, but it's something that I just unfortunately had to find myself out the hard way. And if somebody else had known these things ahead of time, then sure, shit. I mean, it would have been nice to know them, but alas, no cigar. All these monsters don't have shields, so they just don't have the animation. Yeah, okay, well, naturally, yeah, exactly. That's and that explains a lot. Honestly, that would explain a lot, because yeah, like if I fucking go try to whack a fallen, I can't fucking hit him some of the time, and for bosses, they're the biggest offenders of this. Especially, this explains last season. Like, I always thought it was because of a range issue, or because of like a fucking physical. No, wait. Like a lying character screen discrepancy or what, but when I would fucking teleport in and I start spamming Zeal with my Zealer on Questbug Duriel, I was only hitting 2 or 3 of my 5 hits a lot of the time. This was never the problem with Smite, in retrospect. Like, this was something I never really paid much attention to, but it starts to make a lot more sense to me now when I dig deeply into this. But yeah, because of chance to block, Duriel, I think, has like, what, a 40% chance to block, a 50% chance to block? I don't really care. what the exact value is, but it kind of accounts for why I'm having so much difficulty taking on bosses with these melee characters. It's definitely something that I never really thought about up until now, like, I'll be honest, like, shit. But anyway, yeah, that's the silly lesson I learned for the day. So, in case, that's just the bottom line. It kind of sucks, but oh well. I was always thinking it was range plus lag. Yeah, I thought so too. Range, lag, desync. Some people will associate desync as just being an extension of lag, like whatever. But no, legit. I realized that this chance to block definitely also has an impact, or well, in theory, also has an impact. Because once again, I don't know for sure, but I realized from fighting Bale, who even though I have an 80% chance to hit on, I only hit him, what, under 40 or under 50% of the time. And yeah, this whole idea of chance to block could very easily account for this being the case, right? I don't know. So that's the situation. Blizzard got a habit of hiding lag. See WoW Classic as well. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know about WoW Classic, but yeah, they seem to have a way of trying to be like, yeah, no, nothing's wrong, and well, then it kind of makes everything a little bit funkier, I guess. I don't know. Anyway. Also, so yeah, let's see what else. When I had full geared summon Necro, I could never kill Bale for this reason. Even with 100% crushing blow Merc, he was getting blocked, so I had to use Smiter to kill Bale. It's 10 times better than the 100 CB Merc. Yeah, like legit, I can't believe it. Like, oh, of course he fucking poisons me. I was chilling reading chat for a bit, but yeah, no, I mean, it took me a long time to find this out, and I kind of wish I'd known this a bit earlier, but, I mean, hey, I guess better late than never. But, yeah, like, summon Necro. Yeah, I guess that's part of the reason why it's so difficult to use Poison Necro to, or, well, I guess any kind of Necro to go and kill Bale. Like, yeah, intuitively it's like, Poison is a dot, or Poison Nova is a dot, as opposed to like a DPS, right? So it's like, okay, well, maybe just start spamming a bunch of fucking skellies and like whatever, no big deal. But then what happens next, as you can very well tell, is that yeah, well, you've got this chance to block, and the skeletons and also the Merc have a very difficult time doing so. Yeah, because I've definitely tried that too, and I realize, I mean, I shouldn't even be talking about the skeletons, just Merc specifically. Like I feel like, oh yeah, you know, my Merc can totally, even with enchant, right? Like sometimes you're trying to like fucking take down Big Daddy Bale, and then it's like, well, fuck, like why isn't my shit hitting him? And I mean, I don't really think too much of it. I always assume like, oh yeah, it's just probably something to do with, you know, Merc versus boss shenanigans or something, right? I don't look too deeply into the reason why it's like that, but yeah, now I think this could account for why it's so difficult to take down these bosses sometimes, even though, you know, LCS says, oh shit, yeah, you got 95 or 90 whatever % chance to hit them. It's like, well, not really hitting them 95% of the time. Even though, unlike cows, like cows are a pretty large unit, so it's very difficult to miss them off of a range issue. And I think bosses are even bigger than cows, or roughly the same size as cows, so you shouldn't be encountering that issue. And the LCS is telling you have like a 90+% chance to hit, and you're not actually hitting them, so it's kind of shitty. Very unfortunate, but I guess that's just how things in this game turned out. Not really much, I guess, you can do about it. I guess that also might explain why in Trav sometimes with my Whirlwind Barb, things were so difficult. Like, they weren't difficult per se, but I felt like the monsters should have been dying a lot quicker than they actually were. And that just wasn't the case. Yeah. Oh well. Anyway, I'm rambling at this point, but it's just musings. It's why the best build in the game is so good at cows. Yeah, so this is one other thing that I'm curious about. Mancer can't be blocked. That actually makes sense. That actually makes sense now that I think about it. And I don't really think that that's something that the people who invented the Mercmancer build thought of, to be honest. But I think it just worked out like that. Yeah, I don't know, dude. Oh, there you go. Just fucking die already. Like, what the fuck, dude? How many more hits does it take to kill this shit? Anyway, whatever. Oh, look at that. They mono burn me too. Just another thing to add on to the list of problems with this build. When you deal with mono burn with most builds, it's like, oh shit, well, that's a problem because I can't cast my spells. Here, for me, it's like all of the last 2 seconds that I spent trying to charge up my shit gets released when I don't want them to because they mono burn me, and so the game, of course, defaults my attack into a fucking normal attack. Surprise, surprise. I don't know. It's another issue too. Not, once again, not a complaint, but more so just an observation with how the build works. I admit though, I feel like one of the big upsides to playing this character, like in all honesty, is that pretty much every season after this, I really don't think I'll be encountering any builds that I play that's going to be more difficult than this, to be completely honest. Unless I try to do something like really out there, like a Spear Zon or a Passive Zon, or like maybe like a Summoning Druid, although frankly I feel like Summoning Druid would be better than this because at least it's safer, and they have a fucking bear. Like, that shit's tanky as shit. So yeah, I mean, when this season's over, oh man, I can only imagine how I'll feel. Probably even a bit relieved. Like, I'm enjoying the character, but shit, like, when I switch off and I try something else, it might be a relief to be able to go back to, like, easy mode or something. There's on, let's go, BOTD's on. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, I'm honestly not really, to tell you the truth, I'm not really worried about what the end game Spear Zon looks like. I'm mostly concerned about what the early game Spear Zon's gonna look like without any equipment. Like, and here's the thing, like, Obedience is a rune word that's made in polearms. You can't fucking make that shit in a spear. If you could make it in a spear, it might be like, okay, it might actually be something to, like, sit down and be like, okay, well, you know, I can work with this, but shit, like, that you can't actually make Obedience outright. It means that you have to find, like, an actual spear of some kind. Side question, sorry to backtrack. Oh, it's okay, it's okay. I mean, I'm just rambling. I'm talking shit about how difficult this build is to play. You're not really interrupting me on anything. 6-tal spear. Ah. Oh, man. New meta, dude. Spear's on with 6-tal spear. Anyway, here, let me clear out this pack and then I'll, okay, yeah, I still have Cloak of Shadows up. That's probably why this is going as smoothly as it is. Oh, look at that. I missed most of my fucking hits. Don't tell me that these fucking souls have a chance to block. Like, I've already had to deal with so much of this shit. Like, you're... Oh, you've gotta be... Okay, you know what? Do I really have no way to kill him? Come on, man. Okay, maybe I can lure him over here. Yeah, yeah, there you go. Okay, okay, there. Because it has to be a full clear, so... Again, no ranged method to deal with them using. I was released on charge 2. Another thing to look at. Why is it charge 2? Would I be better off max charging all the time? Like... Jade Talon. The one saving grace I can say is that at least Fists of Fire deals with these guys very handily. But the problem with Fists of Fire is that the range on it is just way too low. Yeah. I still think that there's got to be better ways to like boost the speed of this. Although for WSK specifically, it's not going to be by much. Like my survivability is pretty trash. I'll probably try to solve that with CTA. I want to show you guys kind of where my build's at right now going into WSK2. But let's say I do get CTA. I think that a lot of the problem in these runs just lies in how little damage I do and how awkward the AoE on it is. It's not like a Frost Nova or like a regular Nova or Corpse Explosion or even Blizzard, where you just put it down and then it's like that AoE, it kills everything in that AoE. Like this Chaos Lightning and Chaos Ice Bolt, it gets spewed out in a way where it's really hard to kill all the monsters in the surrounding area with the first time that you cast the fucking thing or release the charge. And more than that, each of the individual streaks of lightning or ice don't even do like that much damage. They do like what, 8,000 damage, 2,000 damage. Well, sorry, top end 8,000 damage on lightning, and I just, it takes too long to like charge up, and then when I release it, it just doesn't do enough damage. And I don't really have much more room to really boost my damage anyway. Like I guess I could throw on, like instead of Shaco, I could go like Nightwings or Griffin's Eye or something like that. I guess, right? But like, or maybe even replace Talon Armor for like Ormus, 15, 15, 15 Ormus or some shit like that. Like fine, but it's not. I'm not really going to get that much higher than where I'm at right now, damage-wise. Probably I'm looking at, like, a little over 10k lightning damage. Like, this is full inventory of MA Skillers, 320s. Honestly, I could sub these out for SOJs and a fucking Maras, but, like, let's be real here. I need the attack rating. Sub this out for Arax. Are you fucking kidding me? Souls have 28% block? How does that even make sense? Like, how does a soul block? Like, explain this to me. Right fucking now. How does this even make sense? Like, what? Do they just sit there, they generate a shield with their minds or something? Like, some kind of, like, energy shield? Like, I don't fucking know. If they're a sorceress, then it should just say so. It should be sorceress, not soul. And more than that, there should be, like, a little gold orb on top of their head that shows that they have, like, an energy shield so that they can block people with the number 28 on it to signify that they have a 28% chance to block. Now, that would make more sense. Anyway, fuck. I just had to rant. It's a Sorceress Soul, of course. Oh yeah, clearly. Just say it's a low damage mage without tele and hard to play. I mean, one of the few things it has is Dragonfly, but even that's pretty clunky, I admit. Hard things about melee and casters in on build. Yeah, like, as a hybrid melee caster type character, it's just not, like, it's just boggled down by so many problems. Like, it really is. I don't know. It's not, at least in terms of, like, I'm speaking about this strictly in terms of, like, trying to push down my time, because normally I could say, like, oh, in order to push down the time, here's what I need, here's the items that I'm looking for, this is, you know, I need more practice. This was the case with AT, by the way. I can run an AT in sub 2.5, probably with Enigma I could possibly even do it in sub 2, maybe, right, but, and with Infinity, possibly. I could push it down lower than that. There's definitely room for improvement for me in AT, but when it comes to WSK, that's going to be very difficult to do. The fundamental problem is that I lack the damage and a fucking 28% chance to block. Like basically any time I run into souls, just say goodbye to 3 minutes of my life. Like I can't clear WSK any quicker than I already have without dying or without better gear. So that's a big problem. Anyway, just observations. of course. Thank you for sharing that they have apparently a 28% chance to block. ZZZ. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to move on to the next run, but I wanted to answer Semi's here. He was asking, back to Travar, which mark do you recommend if I'm trying the Singer method first? To be honest, I would say Might. Yeah, I would definitely say Might. Yeah, because you get the damage from having, or the extra damage on them, the big damage boost. And if you like, normally I'd recommend Holy Freeze, but you actually need to hork the bodies, which, yeah, like as a singer barb specifically, you can avoid, I think, freezing everything. You can still CC them, keep your Merc alive without needing Holy Freeze. Yeah. That's right, singing is melee damage, but Might doesn't boost Warcry. However, it boosts your Merc's damage, because Sebi's is trying to make a Trav Barb, a singing Trav Barb, and he's going to try and use singing as, from my understanding, a support skill. So if he's going to be using that for crowd control, then he shouldn't really need Holy Freeze to... Yes, Reapers on Merc. So here's the interesting thing. I recommend Reapers on Merc for sure, because like you get decrap, which is fucking huge. Like that's a massive damage boost on monsters that you're literally doing double damage. I think the council members have like fucking 50% physical damage reduction. Like of course they do for some odd reason. But here's the thing, right? Like the damage boost there is worth it. And also, you're only really affecting the monsters that... Well, yeah, I don't know. I think that's mostly it. Never mind. Let's see. So... Might, okay, cool. And currently with gear, I have 700-ish mana. That's after battle orders. Stat-wise, strength for gear. No dex. Rest in Davida. Oh, I see. And rest in Davida. Should I split some into mana? 700 should be enough. Like, once again, I don't know if you're planning to try and stun lock them, in which case... Here's the, you know what, let me ask you this. What are your res? Like, what are your resistances at? Do you have dwarf stars, and what's your life at? I should have asked that, first of all. Because if you're pushing, like, you know, 3,500 life, or like 3k plus life, you can definitely afford to split some points into energy, even. Okay. Boom. Nope. I just don't do enough damage. You're using Obedience right now on Merc, but that's just because you don't have Reapers. Okay, well, if you can, you know, pay for Reapers, then I would actually recommend it. Fuck A2 Mercs. Have one Dwarf Star. Get another one if needed. Currently, my fire res is 75 fire, 0 cold, 19, minus 19 light. Okay. Okay, that's... okay, I think that should be fine. I'm hesitating because I'm trying to envision how that's going to go. Particularly, the part where you said you have minus 19 light. I think if you come across, like... If you come across monsters that are cold lightning enchanted, you'll have a problem. Those are probably the scariest ones. Oh shit. There you go. Look at how many of them there are. But none of them drop anything, so what's the point? You could equip a Treachery for the Fade proc. Okay, you could do that. Or you could go Smoke as your armor too. I'd actually recommend that. You're gonna want to make sure that... I mean, like, you lose out on a bit of gold. You could try it, actually. You could experiment a little bit, because if you have, like, subpar res and you're non-stop dying, then you may want to amp up the res, of course. Yeah. I actually prefer Smoke to Treachery, just because, like, in runs like Trav, where, you know, the whole idea is to try and CC them before they get any hits in on you and your Merc, you're probably just going to want to have your Smoke straight up, without having to proc fade or anything like that. Once again, that's me. Like, yeah, you figure out what works for you and what doesn't. Maybe you feel like treachery really is a necessity. I don't know. It's very possible. But yeah, I mean, if you can get a Reaper's Toll though, that would be a really huge upgrade. I would argue. Because yeah, you're basically doubling your damage output. You'll probably even double your killing speed on your Merc. Because here, let me just make sure that I'm not talking about my ass. I'm pretty sure council members have council member D2. I'm pretty sure they have. I want to use Amazon Basin, old reliable. 50% physical damage reduction, right? Oh yeah, here we go. Council member 1. Yes, here we go. Council member. They might even have higher than that. Okay, you know, I'm gonna go back to town before I get wrecked by Bale. Okay, here we go. Hell mode. All right, good. Okay, here we go. Yeah, Yellowed Flame Finger, physical, 50%. Let's see. What about the other ones? Torque Ice Fist, also 50%. Ismail Vile Hand, 50%. I don't know about the... Oh, yeah, council members themselves. It doesn't actually say, though. It doesn't really seem to say what the individual council members have. I'm pretty sure they also have 50%, though, but... You know, I can't be arsed to go check right now, or find a reputable source, because some of the sources out there are pretty shit, like, very inaccurate. Anyway, besides the point. But yeah, try to get Reapers on your Merc. That'll help you out a lot. Like, Reapers should be like free-ish right now. I think I have one. Yeah, I have a spare one. I think I'd even pawn it off at like, let's see. 1 second. To tell you the truth, I could probably even just give it to you. Okay, I also need to make a trade. Yeah, I can hand you a Reaper's Toll if you want, or you can pay like for it. I would have preferred something like an rune, or like a Pull, I guess. But yeah, I'm not even really too concerned about Reaper's Toll. You can use some runes for. I think you can do I mean, once again, you could probably even find somebody who's willing to give Reaper's Toll for free. To tell you the truth, that's why I'm saying like Reaper's Toll is not an item that's difficult to get, and trust me, it will boost your killing speed by like a lot. You give your Merc lifesteal to keep his survivability up. You get fucking what, decrep proc. You get like deadly strike. It's pretty insane. Got change for Is? Let me check. I might actually. If not, then you know I can just take whatever you have. If you got like Tal or Pull or Lamb, or I'll just give it for free. Like if you know neither of us have anything. Anyway. Okay, that was run number 9, and probably my next run is going to be my last one for the night. Before I go over to you, I want to actually quickly make a trade. Help Hell Ancient, right? Help Hell Ancient. I think it was Hawes he asked for, and I can't remember the other item. There was a guy that I'm trying to make a trade with. Yes. So the guy was offering SOJ for Windforce. No, sorry. He was offering SOJ for Hawes in Windforce. That's what it was. But I was like, yeah, that's total overpay. And if this guy's making such an offer, then probably I'll. Yeah, I didn't want to trouble him. So I just forced him to flare his account, and I figured that this would be better. Yeah, no worries. I'll be quick about it. Help Hell Ancient. Kind of a shame. I'd normally help him with clearing ancients too, but... Oh, no, he already has a pally here. Alright, cool. Yo. Ah. Damn. It's a lot of people who are stockpiling in for some reason. That's me. Okay, in the meantime, I'm going to go fetch your item. Reaper's Toll, right? I happen to have one handy. I will get that right now, actually. Good. Oh, whoops. I think it's this one and this one. There you go. Yeah. No problem, dude. Okay. Cool. Okay, next thing. Yes, pussinality. Let's go get your thing. No, wait. Yes, Reaper's Toll, that's what it was. Okay, let's go to, I believe it would be this mule. Nope, actually it's not. That's a shame. I also have a Gladiator's Bane, by the way. If you happen to need a Gladiator's Bane, let me know. I seem to have one on hand. I didn't realize, because I actually fucking paid a mal for Gladiator's Bane, but whatever. Anyway. There you go, Reaper's Toll on the ground. Game name D, password D. If you wanted to go pick that up and throw it on your little Bobo. And, I think I was wrong about the souls blocking. I'm reading more into this now. Okay, well that's cool. That would be... I don't know whether I'd be angry or relieved, but either way. Okay, I'll let you work out your barb. Oh, dual spirit sword, skin of the viper magi. That's actually pretty solid, although let me just count this. That's 63 FCR already. This takes you up to 93, so you don't actually hit any breakpoints with that. You might actually just straight up be better off with the smoke Nephilim. Here you go. I'll make it convenient for you, even if you want to do that. Oh yeah, right. I'm supposed to break your shit. One sec. Let me go get my runes. I don't even know if I have any. I don't think I do. I think I broke somebody. Oh no, I have Mal. Oh shit, that's crazy. Here. That's actually perfect. Here you go. I'll take this, and then I'll give you Mal plus And that's the last of my mid runes that I had. Well, okay, I have Pulls and Lems, but... Well, I have a Pull and Lems, but yeah. Keep this if I can get Gladiator's Bane for Merc, and that 2-socket armor for my smoke. I'll tell you what, why don't I just go and fetch the Gladiator's Bane too? I'm not really here to like, I don't really care so much about the, well, I don't know. It's really not a big deal. I guess it's just the bottom line. This is what I'm reading now. Okay, I'll definitely pull that up later. If I had the time, I'd read it right now, but I need to make sure that I finish everything I want to do tonight. Basically, my last run of WSK. So, yeah, let me just finish making trades here, and then we can go into our last game here. Actually, okay, so, yeah, I'll let you work out the rest of the details. Keep change 2 for the Bane, if that's cool. Alright, if you insist, then yeah, I'm not gonna make such a huge fret about it. Once again, it's not a huge deal if you want to keep the and the Mal. Yeah, but it's up to you. I can use the Mal and the for some smaller trades I want to make later anyway, but that's besides the point. Okay, so, I'm gonna do my last run here, I think. Yep, you got your Reaper's Toll. Very curious to see how you end up enjoying the Trav Barb. You might actually really like it, I don't know. Nogazan Relic, that's actually pretty good. Pretty solid item to have. Okay, let me begin my final Trav run, and then I'm gonna... Okay, so let me just check one other thing. What was I doing? Oh yes, I remember. Sorry, let me just update my for trade ISO list because there's some items that are no longer there. So somebody took the Wind Force, somebody took the Hawes. I didn't actually put G-Bane on here, oddly enough. And somebody paid for Trangloves earlier today, so there you go. Okay, Gotta make sure that... Oh, and I also even had a Reaper's Toll on here. Okay, they're on this list, so I gotta cross that out too now. Oh, people did end up needing these items in the end, funny enough. Alright, that's pretty good. Yeah, don't want some salty people to be all like, oh, D2, D2, you said that these items were still available and shit. Oh, who am I kidding? No one ever does that for fucking low-ass items like these, but still, doesn't hurt to be safe. Okay, I had to update my list. Yep. List is looking pretty good now. Anyway, I'm going to do my last run now, guys, so if you guys want to get any final words in, feel free to, but otherwise I'm pretty much done. The Devilkins have 49 block, and the Dark Rogues have 25 block in the pits. That definitely doesn't sound right, but... yeah, no, that definitely doesn't sound right. I definitely should look at that later. 20 for the Bone Warriors. Okay, I can get behind 20, but, like even I admit, like, I don't feel like they're blocking 49% of the time. You know, catch my drift? Like, yeah, I don't know. Oh, hey, look, Bone Hue. That's, it's a nice, I guess, find on run number 10. I'll chart that down quickly. I have room for it, too, so might as well hold on to it for now. Bone Hue on run 10. Yeah, because, look, ZZZ, I remember looking at Devilkins, and it said their 2 block value was 16, I think, or 20 or some shit like that. It definitely wasn't 49. Like, that's what I read on Amazon Basin. But I don't know where the fuck 49 comes from. That seems high in both my personal experience and just as a number, like, for a non-boss monster to have. I don't know, maybe it is, but I don't really think that's the case. I definitely would want to check that myself. That's basically saying I only hit, like, half the time, which I really don't. Or, you know... yeah, no, I definitely hit more than half the time, but it's definitely not 95% of the time like the game would lead me to believe. You were looking at the wrong Devilkin. Oh yeah, okay, that makes more sense because yeah, okay, I suppose the let me guess. It might have not been the dark ones, but the ones that Colenso or whatever? Not Colenso. Yeah, no, it's Colenso, right? What's the wave 5 dude that spawns? I think it's Colenso the Annihilator. There is a Devilkin in Halls of Anguish that has 49... well, fuck that. Oh, and I am being poisoned to death. I was reading chat. Like, I really wasn't looking at the game. By the way, this, what you see here, like what you see here, this is the kind of WSK that that I can actually run in like 2 minutes because most of the monsters just fucking explode in my face. This is what I was saying earlier with regards to it's got a high variance on how many or which monsters show up. It's not as clear cut as, like, you know, in Chaos Sanctuary you get the same types of monsters. It's just varying amounts, right? Here it's a lot more random. So to be honest, I'd say that WSK is probably one of the most interesting places in the game to farm. It's also one of the most... okay, let's see if that does anything. I'm curious to see if I can... okay, well, that was a bit of a wash. I don't know if I can Mind Blast them or find a way to, like... this is something I've never really paid much attention to, but that I'm curious about now. If I can kill these monsters myself, will they drop something before they explode? I don't think so, but it'd be nice to know. Anyway, having said that, though, yeah. WSK2. Just giving you guys the early tour here, these first 10 runs. I know it's not much, but I didn't have much time today. And I wasn't really super focused anyway. WSK is probably... I think a case could be made for this being one of the most fun places in the game to farm. Because unlike with other places, a lot of other places in the game, like AT, Pits, like Chaos Sanctuary, and of course the legendary Cow level, and of course obviously LK, like Like it's actually different monsters like every time, right? Like yeah, okay, I found souls like in a bunch of the runs, but the reality is it's not always going to be like Venom Lords, Wraiths, and like Oblivion Knights and Doom Knights, right? Like you can get any batch of monsters in WSK2, which means that if your character is fully decked out, then WSK2 might actually be a really fun place to farm. But I think when I finish these 1,000 runs, I kind of want to try to make a conclusion about how the expected return on time investment is. So that's definitely something to check out. Looking forward, okay? Anyway, that is pretty much going to be all for me this evening. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream, and Pussinality, I do hope that you end up liking your Barbarian. Yeah, and yeah, hope you guys had fun here and enjoyed listening. And yeah, so ZZZ, also named Devilkin. WSK2, the only things showing block are the Horadrim at 33%. So basically only the Horadrim block, nothing else blocks, and the souls. Yeah, you see what I mean? This is why I was saying, like, I'm not really sure how any of this blocking shit works. I would want to actually take time to sit down and really look at it in depth and in much greater detail. And it's not so clear cut as just being like, oh, this shit's so obvious. Like, there's a lot of misinformation on there's a lot of misinformation on these monsters and how all of these things tie in together. Even Amazon Basin, like having to look at these values specifically, you've had to revise your claim on how these monsters block about 3 times. So it's something I think I should probably sit down and really look at in greater detail, and that rather than just okay, they have a chance to block and sucks. I guess, right? I was pretty on board with Devilkins having 20% chance to block from what I read, but maybe I should look into it more deeply. Maybe monsters without a block animation really can't block, except for the bosses. I don't know, right? Like, yeah, could be anything. So, never mind. Apparently, they don't block in Act 5, only in Act 2 and Act 3. So yeah. Well, and I guess revision a 4th time. Like that's kind of complicated, but anyway. Thanks for the info and stream. Yeah, sounds good. Thanks again for tuning in, man. It was fun having you here, of course, as always. And yes, you're welcome, Seth. Thanks for dropping by. And yeah, congratulations again on your Enigma. Off of selling arachnid sashes, funny enough, but anyway. Okay, guys, that's it for me. I am hopping off now. 2-hour stream, like I said, I do. Yeah. Yeah, next time I'm here, once again, I'll try to push for some streams next week, but I can't promise anything. Yeah, next time I stream, I'm going to try to do more WSK, of course. My goal for next time is to have, like, I don't know how I'm going to make it to CTA. That's going to be my next big goal. If I can get to CTA, I feel like it'll help ease my runs a bit more. Yeah, but after that, I don't know how many runs I'm going to really be doing of WSK per stream. These 5-minute runs got me through, like, 10 runs today. At this rate, I'll never finish this project. So I need to find a way to either speed the runs up or spend more time on this or really evaluate what I want to do going forward with this these runs of WSK. So yeah, that's all for next time. Or even get Enigma so we can be Enigma Bros. Ha! Well, good luck with that. Want to borrow mine? No. I want to actually work to get my own CTA. And when I get it, I'll roll it on stream and I'll show you guys what I end up with, and that'll be a lot of fun. Okay, so get ready for that. Yeah, easy. All right, guys. Yeah, that's basically it for me. So, thanks everyone for watching. Hope you guys had fun. This is D2D2 signing out.